Councillor Headley gets the crack at the first question. Councillor Headley, if you please.
Thank you very much, and obviously it's good news to hear that Councillor Weir is recuperating. That's good news. We obviously are delighted and celebrate the universal decision and the boost to the local economy that it will bring, and what that will mean in benefiting local residents. Now that this part of the decision has been taken, it's important to make sure there's enough focus on the important details of ensuring the infrastructure necessary is delivered. Yeah. That obviously includes the big issues, such as the slip roads off the A421 and the bigger Wixham station, where the investment is necessary and welcome. But there's also going to be lots of other pressures on the local area in terms of services, housing, other roads, and just council services in general. When there have been other big national projects, such as the Somerset Battery Factory, long-term financial arrangements have been put in place with the council concerned. Can you therefore, getting to the question, can you therefore confirm that you still expect there to be an agreement with the government on how the council will be able to access the resources needed to deal with these pressures over the longer term, and when you expect that to be agreed? Thank you.
Well, thank you for that question. That is literally the billion-dollar question of how this council and this area deals with Universal. How do we get the road investment? What agreement are we going to have with the government? Hopefully, looking to our chief, we are in negotiations even as we speak, and hopefully we will get those sort of agreements for this area. It's still early days and they're still negotiating the final heads of terms, I believe. So we will be told and the agreement will come down to us. And that is the question. How do we get this fantastic opportunity for Bedford and Bedford Borough to actually yield really great results for our town, for Bedford, for Kempston, and for all those villages and everything round about? And it doesn't all go to Milton Keynes and Ampthill and Biggleswade and Sandy, because they've got nice road links as well. It comes and it helps us. That is a very, very good question. I hope in the next 4 or 5 months we will actually pin down exactly what this government is going to help us with and not help us with. I have an understanding that Universal are coming here to solve their, to do their business and to solve their problems and to do great things. They're not coming here to solve our problems. So I have a feeling that, what we have an opinion on infrastructure might not be the government's. But we're watching this space, we're negotiating, and we're going to see what happens. It doesn't really answer your question, but it sort of gets halfway, and let's see how things develop over the summer.
If I could just follow up with a statement and say, well, thank you very much. I mean, yes, as you've said, these negotiations are going to be very important that you've indicated there. I mean, it is great that the government are backing the project, but now on the detail, they also need to ensure they're backing Bedford Borough and our residents and our communities so that we can maximise the local positive impact and work together to look out for residents during the construction and beyond. When there's such a massive project like this, however much it's welcomed, and obviously we do very much welcome it, there are lots of knock-on impacts to be managed. It's important now that the council doesn't think the work is done. In fact, the work is just beginning to make sure the infrastructure, both physical and service-based, is now developed and put in place, and adequate funding is secured for this. Thank you.
Councillor, you did have your hand up before, so far away.
Thank you, Mayor. I particularly put my hand up at that moment because I'm following on in many ways from what Councillor Headley was asking about. He was asking about the financial aspects. I'm asking about broader aspects. But before asking the question, I feel it best to declare a local interest in that my employer advocates for high-quality active travel infrastructure for disabled people. Now, that said, what I wish is to ask members of the executive for information about how far they are thinking through the implications of the Universal decision on their service areas. So, for example, we know that there are going to be implications for the housing market of an increased number of Airbnbs. Similarly, there may be implications on children's services because potential fosterers may have an alternative source of income from their spare rooms. There'll be implications for transport networks and so on. And so I'd like to hear from across the service areas, ideally, please.
that is a very, very good question again. One that is still very early days to answer, but one I think all Cabinet members should be talking with their officers about. How is it going to affect us? What sort of things? I don't think with the decision only a few weeks away, or from a few weeks, that we can yet grasp how. And of course we are 5 or 6 years away from the opening date, so there are a great many things still up in the air, but that is a very, very good question. I'm really pleased about Universal coming. I've nailed my colours that we have spent a huge amount of time and effort as an administration, cross-party, all the rest of it. We've been working together with councillors. I'm rather hoping that we can do some sort of Universal Day motion to the council. We're going to bring this forward. I'm really excited about it because it's something that we want to talk about. I was going to talk about it at great length tonight, but I think we've got to work on it, and also I want to do it properly through group leaders and all the rest of it. It's not something that wants to come half-assed out of the executive. It's got to be done properly because this is going to be cross-party and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm really, really pleased that we can get some sort of agreement. Both questions tonight have not been bad questions. They've been very, very good questions. The trouble is we are too early to answer. Ask me in 3 or 4 years' time, but at the minute we will endeavour to try and work out what it will mean for things. And each one of our executive, if we could try and do some sort of written question for Councillor Foley, would that be? Because I think this is a proper written question, and what we can do and cannot do would be. So I'm looking to our avid scribes because sometimes I say we'll have a written question and it doesn't happen. So thank you very much.
Yeah, a brief statement, if I may. Yeah, I sort of was worried about the comment about 3 or 4 years, in that by then it will be too late to put in place some of the actions that we need to take. But you know, reassured by what you said after that. We in the Greens have welcomed the decision by Universal, but at the same time we're aware of the possible downsides. You know, the way we look at it, for local people to get the best out of this, we need to work hard both to maximise the upsides and to minimise and mitigate the downsides. You know, on the particular travel and transport, my request is for really careful consideration about how active travel and bus routes can maximise the number of those working at the site, who travel to and from the site car-free, including thinking about cross-border routes in conjunction with Central Beds Council, given its location. You know, if we get this right, Universal could be absolutely great for the area, but the worry is if we don't get it right, we'll suffer as a result.
Shall we say we have lots of sudden new friends in the councils all around our area, and certainly Milton Keynes are very, very keen on running a very fantastic bus service from their train station to Universal, and the Labour leader there has met with Universal on a number of occasions. I won't say he's promising the earth, but he certainly wants to run a lot of buses into Universal from their site. I don't know if it's commenting, we can comment. It's a very good question about the railway station. We have had word from the government. The Chief Executive has had word that they want us to stop work on the Wixham's railway station. So this is probably some great news for Mr. Frost and the finance team, that we're not paying out for 65 million quid of train station. So it might make 1 or 2 things more easy on the financial fronts in the next year or so. But it does mean for the residents of Wixham's a small pause while they get a very, very large 4-station train station that will even have a roof, I'm told. But also it is told that they're probably thinking of trying to bring trains from further afield than London, possibly even from abroad. And that would ease a lot of the air mile worries that the Greens have. And I think they're very good. And if we can get the platforms right so that a certain train can come all the way from France, then that does ease a lot of problems. And I'm looking forward to it. And that's the rumours I've heard. We haven't had anything confirmed, and we haven't had the plans of the station confirmed yet. We're still in very early days. But hopefully that reassures you some of the way that bus, active travel and trains are the heart of what they see, the delivery of large amounts of people to the site. Hopefully that's helpful. Do we have any other... On the back, Councillor.